Welcome everyone to the Onward VR Master League. I am your host Monorchid, and I'm joined today by my co-caster Theta.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We are excited to be bringing you this Rome versus Velocity matchup in Season 11, Week 5. And this one's actually one of the kind of like challenge matches for the Button Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Theta?
That is correct.
This is a pretty interesting format where EU and the US teams fight off against one another and equalize the MMR. So you're going to see some of these matches coming up soon between this week and next week, I believe. And just kind of see the battle of the nations, as it were. So that's pretty fun. And this should be, I think, the first one this week.
I would have to check that, but I think you're right.
Either way, it should be an exciting matchup. We don't get to see these all the time, so that should be pretty awesome. But let's just jump over to the bands. What do we got? Theta.
For the home team, which is Rome, we have a ban of Suburbia.
Okay.
And for Velocity, they are banning Quarantine.
Any thoughts on those?
There's not a ton of data to go off of for Velocity because this is their first season and we're still relatively early in that season. But my suspicion is that Rome is banning Suburbia because at this point, Velocity does have a 73% win rate there, and they just in general appear to be pretty good at close quarters maps. So I think they're banning for that. And Velocity hasn't played Q1 at all this season, so I would assume that they're just banning for weakness because maybe they don't have the reps. I don't know. That's just my speculation.
Yeah, as a new team where you got a bunch of people that, just came together, you're still learning how to play with one another, and you get really good at certain maps, and you tend to want to play those. Playing some of the other maps that you maybe not, haven't spent as much time in, focus on the other ones and or what have you, that all comes with time. So I'm sure we will see that at some point, but at the same time, I mean, could you imagine trying to learn all the objectives to Q1? It'd take a huge investment in time, I think.
It would be brutal. There's just so much to watch, so much to learn. There's, I think, a dozen different spawn points now on Quarantine, so it's just a lot to take in for a rookie team. I mean, it's a lot to take in even for an experienced team at this point.
Right, yeah, and we've been seeing a lot less of Q1 for sure between all teams on all levels, so I definitely don't think it's out of the ordinary. Pretty interesting, I think, the Suburbia ban, though. I think that Rome is pretty good at that map, especially considering the stats for this season anyway. But like you said, sometimes banning for what the other team is good at can really, really work well in your favor.
Yeah, it really just depends on the matchup, but sometimes that's the right call.
Right. Anyways, guys, we're going to jump into a quick intermission. We will be jumping in straight to the action as soon as it's ready to go. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys shortly.
VRware. Our passion is for the
Welcome back, everybody. We are just about to get started here. These two teams are just getting the last bit of planning under their belts so we can get ready to the action. Let's just go ahead and reveal map 1. It's a pretty interesting pick, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I have not seen this. I don't know if I've ever seen this in a league match.
Bizarre. No one's ever seen this map.
What kind of bizarre? That's the
Just
real
kidding.
question.
It's Bizarre Night. Bizarre Night. What are your thoughts on picking night maps in general?
I'm not really a huge fan of night maps aside from Subway personally, but it could be a good way to give yourself an advantage because most people don't play the night maps. So, assuming that you've played this a bunch and have some set strategies for the night version, it could end up working out for you.
All right. So many teams don't practice this, but we're off to the races here. Pretty pushed out defense that we're seeing from Velocity here. They're going all across the map. We got people looking across the markets. We got people looking in on objective, just all over the place. As far as Rome is concerned, everyone's just kind of getting in position, getting into spots where you can watch some of these crosses, maybe catch any aggressive flankers coming around the side. For example, William Dunce, who is looking entirely towards the building there. Catch anybody getting too aggressive. As far as the main push is concerned, we're seeing a 3-man push go around the southwest here. Looks like they have made it across the gap here. This spot that we see from Lil Sayonara is very, very common, very, very powerful. Even when you know where they are, it's very, very tough to just overcome. He is bouncing around a bit. We might see some sneaky picks from him, especially in a night map where he definitely can blend in. But we'll just have to see how that one shakes out.
And it's worth mentioning that for the caster interface, we have a slightly lighter view. There's a little night vision toggle we can use. So sometimes they may not see somebody that we are seeing. So just keep that in mind as you're watching.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop that on now. The Ramen is just coming into vision from Little Sayonara, not quite catching him yet. The laser's going right above his head now, but Ramen coming out okay so far. Shots ring out just a little bit too late as Ramen just came around the corner. He's now going for a rotation here. The center street is being pushed slightly by the likes of Gladiator, but nobody's really watching that way. They're waiting for them to kind of come in close before they engage any of the attackers. This is kind of an interesting objective. It plays a lot differently than a lot of objectives that we've seen in the past. Little Sayonara engaging Re and T as they push up here. Seeing a little bit of push out from him. Again, just keeping the offense guessing about his position. Smokes being deployed from Re and T.
And Gladiator and William Dunce just sort of probing in the east side of the market. I think they're just trying to clear angles and moving a little bit more deliberately. Still about 3 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock, so they have time to work. They're not terribly far from objective, but not a ton of progress either. The defense just sort of holding their breath, waiting for something to happen.
Currently, we have a little bit of a showdown between Ramen and Denny. I don't think Ramen is aware of Denny's position, but Denny is in a great position to catch anybody rotating here. The shots from Sayonara might have pushed Ramen off from his usual plan of going south. So now he has to rotate and go through the buildings here. And Denny's in a great position to get that pick. Ooh, Ramen came around the corner. Denny, though, just barely catching him with a nice snapshot. Able to pick that up. And now putting Re and T in a bad place as they now have to watch their side as well as their front. And they're somewhat in a bind here as Little Sayonara could catch them on any kind of rotation. As I say that, Re pushes forward. He is now a little bit further. He just has to go a little bit more before he gets in the safe zone and able to really challenge Sayonara. Thrywin picks up Gladiator in the center. Or actually in the northeast, my bad. Re now pushing around the side here. He's now got in and behind Sayonara. Sayonara, though, aware of this rotation, picks up Re in a tense engagement. Now it's all up to T over here on the south side. Will he be able to make this push? This is a tough one. T trying to get that just slim shot through the broken wall here. He is close enough to be able to see, but it will be tough. Meanwhile, William has taken out Lego for days. Just south of the objective here in the blue room, and he continues to rotate, try and take out these northern defenders, but it's going to be a tough order with most of the team up there and ready to defend. and a couple players ready to support him. Sayonara could push around, and Denny could rotate back towards objective. Denny, meanwhile, takes out T in a nice shot, leaving it to just William.
He's in a bit of a precarious position because it's only about a minute left, and John CZ called out William Dunce on the scaffolding before he took the shots that killed Lego. So they have to have some sense of where he is. His only true hope at this point is getting a cap, but actually there's kind of a lack of coverage. John CZ is starting to move in, look on one side, but if William really pushes the pace, he could get on the opposite side of the tank and cap.
Denny, a little smack talk from him, but William's kind of in his element. I think he really excels as being the last man up. But he doesn't have much time to do it, and he gets caught by Little Sayonara watching his angle there and giving Velocity their first point on the board. All in all, the tank objective is a very hard one to both defend and attack. There's challenge points for both, and some really gnarly spots that defense can take that can really throw a wrench in any attack plan. I think everyone who's played this objective can really attest to how different spots have just totally destroyed them or allowed them to basically run right onto the objective and cap.
All the action is concentrated in the south and southeast because that's the most powerful capping perspective. And the problem is there's all these little spots in the south and southeast where it's really hard to dig out defenders, like where Little Sayonara was, or Denny in that little southeast courtyard. You have to clear those areas, but there are so many advantageous positions defenders can take. I can only imagine it's being magnified by the fact they're playing at night, too.
Absolutely, and a team that doesn't practice these night maps are going to be thrown a little bit off. Their loadouts are going to have to be adjusted by one point if they choose to take night vision. They're also going to have to just deal with spots that they're not used to, where it's maybe is more dark or more light than what they're used to, and they show up more, or they don't. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to see a team choose to play a night map like this. See if they can get the upper hand on it, but the fundamentals do stay the same, especially for a map like Bazaar. It's a tried and true map that a lot of us have played time and time again in previous seasons, even if you weren't on a team, and a lot of teams know what to do on this map. Looks like we're about to jump into round 2. We'll have to see if Rome will be able to defend or Velocity will run away with some momentum on their side.
Looks like we have a mirror spawn. Rome took a little bit of the long way and went all the way down to the south and waited for a timed attack. I wonder if Velocity will take the same tactic.
See, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. Lego going prone here. Pretty interesting choice.
Little Sayonara and Thrywin already shooting at defenders and sending smoke through the north.
What an interesting pickup, using that smoke to get across and attack in an area that most teams feel that they have under control. There's just so many powerful positions to stop this northeast cross. By using that smoke so effectively and having 2 players already in the northeast, it's going to be a pressure point for Rome, and we'll have to see if they can manage it.
Oh, but Ree is at a dominant angle if Denny and John CZ keep looking the same way that they're looking down in the south.
Shots ringing out. Ramen picking up Lego for days. Nice shot from him. All the way across the map, just instant headshot. Ree should be aware of John CZ's position, considering the fire that he put out there, and I don't think they have any idea that he's there. That said, he should be pretty obvious. His head should basically skylight behind because of this light right in front of him. We'll just have to see if they do notice that, or maybe they will just completely bypass him. Oops, shots ring out. Ree not quite able to pick him up. Maybe getting caught in those wood pallets there, reducing the damage. and letting John CZ come out alive in that exchange.
Let go, I'm holding.
Jumping back over to Little Sayonara and Thrywan as they make their push in. William definitely aware of their position, hearing their movement here, but he might get caught in the back here if he's not careful. William here getting a little peeky, but he is in the darkness of that little shack, which should give him a slight advantage if Little Sayonara continues to peek this corner.
Okay.
Tense moment for William as he hears this talking. Thrywan pushing forward, all these footsteps in and around him, and he knows that at any time they could be flanking from opposite directions. Tense moment for William. You see him just sitting here in this corner, not sure if they're coming behind him, not sure if they're coming from in front of him, just having to do his best to continue defending this all alone. Shots ring out. He's not able to pick up Sayonara there. Flash coming out. He continues firing. He's now pushing, gets Thrywan. He's going to continue this push, gets in the building here. Sayonara, currently Flash, unable to know what's going on right now, but William taking up a new position will be able to continue defending this just by doing some kind of aggressive. Ooh, but William and Sayonara trade, and just like that, the Northeast has been neutralized.
It's a funny little cat and mouse game happening in the Southwest. Ree keeps probing for Denny and John CZ, but Denny and John CZ have decided to move on, and they are now getting close to objective. So Ree's in a position now where there's a real cap danger if the objective gets cleared out.
Yeah, this defense is quite pushed out. Gladiator, though, able to see Sean CZ as he goes through the building without checking for any defenders, gets taken out. Valiant attempt to do a 180 and try and defend yourself, but Gladiator does come out on top, and just like that, we're down to one attacker in Denny. We'll have to see what he can do with the 2 minutes remaining to him. You can see he's very concerned about any kind of flank. They still haven't killed Ree. They still expect him to be somewhere, maybe coming up behind him. So it's making it very tough for him to continue this push. Have to see what they do. You can see Gladiator rotating on the map here. Kind of concerned that there is a little bit of a weakness. If they were to come from the northeast, they might be able to get to the cap if he misses them. But instead, he takes up a position up on the scaffolding where he has excellent view of the objective. But at the same time, might expose himself to the likes of Denny. And Denny takes the shot. Clean. A clean kill onto Gladiator. But that does give Ramen and Ree the exact knowledge of where he is. And you can see Ree already moving in for a rotation on his rear right now.
And he's only got 45 seconds anyway. So even if he wins this encounter with Ree, this is going to be a challenge.
Absolutely will be. I wonder if he's if the kill count's a little off here. Kind of looks like he's trying to finish on kills. But that will not work out for him. You can see here, he hears the timer. He knows that time is about to be up. He has to make a move here. It has to be decisive. And he has no time to check those corners. He just has to go and hope that he comes out on top. Takes out Tea Party. He only has 1 second left, though. And Ramen gets that final kill in the final second. Rome bringing it back to a 1-1, and we have a good series ahead of us, folks.
Well, that cross in the north, I have to admit, was pretty spicy. I didn't think I'd ever see a team just do that right off the bat, because obviously you want to hide your spawn as long as you can, but it worked to some degree. They got across, but just couldn't clear out William. If that had worked out, that could have decisively changed the tide of that round. And then they kind of got caught in the southeast excuse me, the Southwest a little bit playing cat and mouse with Reed, which I think ended up draining so much time that Denny was just in an untenable position when he found himself alone.
I would have to agree with you. I think that the strategy with that cross was excellent. Having a strong position for Marsoc in that northeast is super, super powerful. And they almost had it. It was just they didn't come out on top in those trades.
Yep.
It was spicy though, for sure. Very, very awesome to see those different kind of strategies being employed by these teams. And honestly, in my opinion, usually you don't see anyone really go that northeast at all. So by doing that, it can really throw the opposing team off from your off of your scent or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's just really cool to see. I don't know.
Well, it usually is really dangerous just because people are covering that cross, but yeah, using the smoke really changed the dynamic of it. Anyway, new objective, Kiat,
New
everybody's
objective.
favorite, especially when you're playing defense. Oh, round reset. And no, oh, Ramen takes out Ree and Tea Party with the knife. Okay, like to see that.
Someone forgot their night vision. That's my guess.
Could be.
All right. I think we're good to go here. These two teams ready to duke it out on the infamous Kiat objective. Who will come out on top? Will we see a cap this round? We'll just have to wait and see.
I just heard John CZ telling his team, I don't mind losing this defense as long as we don't get capped on. And that is, it's actually not a bad attitude to have, just because at this point, yeah, you drop a point that's not great, but getting to 3-1 on Kiat, that's, you really don't want to see that for the other team.
You definitely don't. Looks like Rome is going to be choosing to do a mostly northeast attack here. You can see Ree pushing up, taking control of some of these inner buildings. Sayonara definitely going to hear this movement though. Keeping strong, watching the inside, but now going for a bit of a rotation, hoping to catch Ree in the back, but Ree playing a little bit sneaky. We'll be able to hear that rotation. They come out into quite a duel right here, and they do trade. All right, meanwhile, Ramen slowly pushing forward. He is now almost breached into the market, and a good spot to catch any overly peaky defenders, but it looks like Velocity is going to play pretty tight to their chest here. Very, very concerned about losing the objective and getting capped on like we talked about before. The rest of Rome playing pretty loose here, just going for those picks, going for those rotations, letting the entire team get in position. But this north or southwest player is going to be in for a bit of a doozy with three defenders, all mostly watching his approach there. But it will bode fairly well for that northeast attack from Rome, as there's really only one or two defenders ever really looking in at a time, and a nicely timed blitz using smoke, using utility could work really well.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but Lego on camera 2 is about to encounter Tea Party.
Danny, just hold the straight angle.
I'm with you here. We're going to see how this one pulls out. T comes out into position. Lego getting him, but not before getting traded right back from T in an excellent exchange between these two players.
So 2 trades, 3v3. It's going to throw off the kill count for both teams, and you really don't want that kind of information distortion on this objective.
Meanwhile, the push in the northeast is getting hot. We got smokes, we got grenades coming out, throwing down some suppressive fire into said smoke, giving away his position. Ramen should be aware roughly where he is, and we're gonna see what he does with that information. Getting a little bit more peeky throwing, pulling back into the rear or the north side of the objective, just taking a defensive position and letting the offense come to him. There is a bit of an opening going through the center here if you can make it past Denny, but John CZ doing a bit of a rotation on the far north side to come into support for throwing if anybody continues to push on this northeast approach. Meanwhile, Gladiator in his signature style, sneaking up and getting in position to go for one of his caps.
Well, that's going to be hard as long as Denny stays in his position. But if he gets cleared and Thrywin or John CZ don't rotate, this could get ugly pretty quick.
It definitely could, Theta. We're going to have to see how this one shakes out. I definitely see an engagement in the future for Ramen and Thrywin. Ramen coming around the corner here. His angle is correct. His gun is on target, but he doesn't commit. Instead, he opts for some kind of utility. Smoke going towards objective, getting into position, giving Gladiator that cover needed. John CZ, though, on a rotation here, able to pick up William in the back. Ramen in a position to get a refrag, but if he's not careful, will get shot from Denny across the way. John CZ picking up Gladiator. The cap attempt is now been neutralized. Ramen definitely aware of his position here, coming upstairs, trying to fight off John CZ, but John CZ's apt jump down from the stairs will save him his life and allow him to get the last kill on Ramen, giving Velocity a point.
Yeah, and John CZ just throwing a wrench in that offensive machine because he started out in the north. They had a nice kind of sandwich defense on the north and south of the Kiat, and then he just ran around to the east side and shot everybody in the back. That was a move I don't think anybody would see coming as an offensive player.
Right, yeah, they were all just preparing for their final push in, and to have that happen to them really kind of threw them off. Ramen had the right idea, though, coming around the backside, trying to come in on his backside the same way John CZ did to the rest of Rome, but John CZ jumping down and going into the building for cover, forcing Ramen to make this choice of, do you continue pushing on the top and possibly get shot from any of the other defenders across the way, or do you rotate and try from a different angle, which is more safe? And that's what John CZ definitely anticipated there with that move, and able to pick up Ramen as he tried to rotate out from these northeast apartment buildings, or whatever you like to call them.
It was a really smart move because he was just violating their expectations. When you're on Kiat as a defender, I think the expectation on both sides is that the defenders are going to stay put because you just do not want to leave either side open. It's just too easy to run in and get a cap either upstairs or downstairs. And on top of that, they didn't have an accurate kill count because of all the trades. And I don't know if John CZ really understood that part, at least beyond an intuitive level, but to run around like that and violate exactly what everybody expects out of the defense, I have to say, as a wild card to throw in every now and then, that was just a very, very good play.
Definitely agree with you there, and I think there's also this kind of part to play where it's really hard to identify when those trades happen because the bodies fall to the floor and it's really dark already. So it's really hard to just see that trade happened after the fact when you go for the refrag.
Yep, exactly.
We'll see what these teams do
Gonna be pushed up on this side, I guarantee that.
moving into round 4.
Yeah. First, let's hold the market. Let's first hold the market for some time. I'm gonna hold the far left side, and you can
Last minute strategies coming from John CZ, making sure everyone is aware of what everyone should be doing here. Lego and Denny pulling up positions side by side to watch towards the center of the market, and might play out for them if T continues forward, but it looks like they're going to play a pretty inward facing defense, having one player in the market and two kind of just in opposing sides near the buildings here. Pretty interesting defense all in all, as nobody's really watching for that western cross from the likes of Velocity.
You can tell that Rome is taking the same kind of mindset that Velocity was, in that they don't want to get capped on. I think they're willing to accept even 1 point here because it's still not over, but they get a cap, this is map. And you have to play a little more conservatively in those situations. So I don't blame Rome for setting up this way.
Meanwhile, though, Ree in a very spicy prone position. He's all the way in the northwest corner in such a way that he can catch anybody running down the south lane, or sorry, north lane. Mixed up my directions there. Catch anybody running around the north there and possibly get a really spicy pick. And he should be able to hear anybody approaching him, which could very well work out for him. No C4 though.
Yeah, it is an interesting risk-reward profile on that position because nobody can run behind him. I don't think... I'm trying to position myself at the same level as somebody running past him. I don't think they'd see him. The only way he'd give himself away is either through shots or giving a call out. And they would have to run up the stairs to confront him if they wanted to get to his position. I guess
Hopefully
they
he
could
doesn't
frag
fart.
it.
Or if it does, it's one of those silent killers, you know?
Yeah, that's when you hope that as an offensive player approaching his position, you equip your gas mask.
Owen's gonna kill me. All right, Sayonara here and John CZ continue to push up here. Ree should be able to start to hear these this movements and definitely those shots coming from John CZ, but he's gonna hold steady here and just have faith in his positioning that he won't be seen by the likes of John CZ or Sayonara if they come around his backside. Meanwhile, the rest of the team continues to just watch towards the rear or towards the market, trying to get those picks, but none will be had. Sayonara, though, running right below Ree, and he hears them. They're in the house. They're in the house and they're outside of the house. He can see him doing a little bit of a tweak of his position here, just making sure he is definitely tight as they shoot right next to him.
Okay, north wall looks kind of clear. Magnus
We'll have to see what happens.
clear the courtyard, then Magnus clear the courtyard.
So much tension on that position.
They're all around him. They're all around me. Oh, and here we go. We might see the first shot right here. He's waiting for them to all get in line. He comes forward to make sure he will get forward. 2 shots. And just like that,
Wow.
John CZ and Sayonara taken out by Ree.
And I need to point out, I didn't want to break the tension of that moment, but William dropped. So it is, in fact, a 4-person defense right now. Those 2 pickups were critical to even it up.
Wow. You are not wrong. That is a tough objective to drop one on.
Yeah, the Onward gods not being terribly forgiving with that drop, but Ree decides to even things up in the north with that spicy little rooftop position.
I don't
So,
think we're done seeing the likes of Ree either, as the entire offense is choosing to attack in this northwest direction. Flank from Ree could be very decisive, just like we saw from John CZ the last round. The tough one for both of these teams. Attention is on. There's only a minute and 30 seconds left, but on this objective, anything can happen in such a short period of time. Lego just about in position to see Ree there, but doesn't complete his sweep. And Ree will be able to stay hidden, at least for now. Flash coming out, but just a little bit high from the likes of Lego. Ree definitely going to be aware of that player is attacking his position. We'll have to see who comes out on top here. Either way, though, Velocity really doesn't have time for this. They need to push towards the objective. Only 50 seconds left on the clock. And Ree definitely doing his job here.
Well, the biggest role he's playing now isn't even the kills that he got. It's just the fear he's instilling in anybody coming to the north. Because they don't know where he is exactly, but they know there are bodies in the north. But Lego and Denny coming in on the north side of the objective. Lego, and Ree catches him as he comes in.
Ramen here going for a quick rotation, knowing that the objective is a little bit open there. T being able to pick up throw in. Denny getting the refrag on the T. Denny going for the cap now. Ramen is going to have to come around to defend this, and he does. Ramen bringing it back for his team, bringing this to a 2-2. What a tight game.
No kidding. That, man, that was close. That was real close. But they were also running out of time, so had to be a little spicier with their push in there to have that opening. And T was also only downed. I could hear him yelling over his radio that they were capping. So that was not going to happen as long as there was one defender near the objective.
Absolutely. So you always have to worry about that. 20 seconds left on the clock, and the cap attempt was attempted. That's just something you got to think about on a Kia. And honestly, a lot of objectives on Bazaar. This is a map that definitely favors those players that are really quick on their fingers when they get that tablet out. There's a lot of good positions that you can sneakily get those in. You could be fighting, and then suddenly you're in on objective. Not really much choice for the defenders to keep them out and away from the objective, trying to keep them at arm's length. So definitely a map where playing a little bit more of a tight defense like we saw from Rome can definitely pay off. And I think that a more far-flung defense might have played in the Velocity's hand and gave them that window they needed to get that cap. So good job from Rome there.
Yeah, I think we almost saw the vulnerability of Ree's position there. So he got those kills. He had 3 kills in the north, which was excellent, of course. But the moment that they started flowing into the objective, if Denny had finished those last 2 defenders there, that was a cap. Like, even with 20 seconds left, that's likely a cap.
Definitely so, but luckily for him, the main attack came from that northwest, and he was able to defend that so well, as we saw. Let's jump into round 5 here. Let's jump into the scoreboard here. Teams have a little bit of last second planning to be done, it sounds like. Maybe accidental round start, or again, forgot that one piece of kit that you absolutely needed. Making that quick return there to adjust that and jump back right back in. Hopefully the teams are ready this time, get those kits fully adjusted and ready for such a night map, such as Bazaar Night, as we've been seeing. Definitely, again, an oddity for any of those teams or players that are joining us on this cast a little bit late here. Something you don't see every day. Defense is surging forward, getting into positions there. Pretty interesting position from John CZ on the red truck, hoping to catch any of these players that run out into the street a little bit too cavalierly. Meanwhile, in the south, we got a bit of a push coming from the likes of Ramen as he continues forward, looking again for any of those south flanks as 2 players, not just 1, but 2 players are checking for anybody pushing across, which should give Ramen the confidence he needs to push across the street here and get in position in order.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but John CZ and Tea Party looking at each other on camera too.
Shot right in the legs there. Able to take him out and open up a very, very critical north approach onto the objective. This is going to be a tough one for the likes of Velocity to continue defending. They're going to have to make some adjustments here. Without anybody watching that alley, it's going to be very, very tough. But we do see a line that is watching it in from Denny, so good job from them to do that rotation and continue watching that as John CZ going down. Very, very brutal for them early.
Looks like we're seeing a rotation from Thrywind to cover the north, so that's not a totally open lane.
This is a tough one, though. There's weaknesses that are now being created for Velocity's defense as they strain to cover the angles that they normally had from 5 players being up. Denny here, for example, having to watch both the alley and across. Brywin also watching the north, considering that a player just died there. But Lego kind of in an island unto himself here. If they decide to push the center, these center streets of the building, or alleys, I should call them, it could be very tough for them to defend. A few smokes and the cap is on. So, a lot to think about for these two teams.
Gladiators walking along the scaffolding right behind Little Sayonara. So far, no callouts from Little Sayonara. I would expect that he just wants to get the pick, but I would be very surprised if he didn't know somebody was right next to him. And with that smoke, he knows for sure that there are now people on the scaffolding, at least one.
Meanwhile, T and William are starting to make their approaches. Smoke has been deployed by the likes of T, giving him a little bit of cover as he looks in the building, trying to get those quick picks, but pulling back just a tad, waiting for the rest of the team to be fully ready for this engagement. In fact, they even hear a little bit of direction from Marie, making sure everyone stays steady, watches their lanes, and gets in position. Meanwhile, Sayonara again just holding steady here, watching for those crosses, not going to let anybody take this northeast from him, and we'll just have to see how that one plays out. Meanwhile, Lego again just holding steady, but Thrywin in a position to catch any aggressive pushers if they try to take this alley yet again.
And now Gladiator and Ramen stacked right next to Little Sayonara. I'm assuming now that the smokes
The
he
push
threw out.
comes out. Gladiator coming around the
pushes in.
corner. Sayonara able to pick that up, though. Immediate flash from him, trying to catch any immediate refragger. Comes around the corner. Ramen exchanging fire, but Sayonara not able to pick that up. Will pull back, get into a new position, or maybe he's just going for a reload and might continue this push.
Oh, and Thrywin just spotted Tea Party in the north and takes Tea Party out. Looks like Thrywin's going to have a lane directly. Oh, but Ramen takes out Thrywin before he can hit either William or Ree.
Very aggressive defense there. He was able to pick up one, but got taken out as he continued that push. Good rotation from Ree and the rest of his team, making sure that and Ramen and all that, making sure that aggressor was taken out before they continued their push. That said, only a minute left, or minute and 10 seconds left there. William and Ramen pushing together here, guns over the shoulder here in a very tactical pose, and William continues this push. He's gonna be in the line of Denny, and we'll have to see how this plays out. William now peeking just at the right time when Denny was looking away, and this is where this whole defense comes out, and Denny here about to peek, comes out. William though ready for that, able to take him out, immediately goes for the rotation. Sayonara going for that refrag, not able to get it up. William continuing his push around, getting aggressive, knowing there's not much time left, 35 seconds left on the clock, runs through the fire of Ramen, which will hurt their push right there, but Ree though able to pick up Lego, bringing this to a 2v1. 20 seconds left on the clock. Ree and Ramen are going to have to continue this push, but Ramen, unfortunate team kill there. 15 seconds on the clock. Will he be able to get this? It looks like he's going to go for a cap. He's actually in a great position to do so. The smoke, though, will give his position away. Sayonara pushing forward to try and stop him, but will he be able to do it? It's anyone's games here. Will Ramen trying to get that cap in velocity?
Oh.
Velocity win on time.
Wow, that almost worked. That almost worked. If he had just had a few more seconds, I think that would have been a cap and map for Rome.
What a tight one.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Couple of unfortunate team kills at the end there, too, made it a little more challenging than it needed to be, but just, man, so close for Ramen. He almost had that. That was about to be map win for Rome, but I think he just didn't have quite enough time. If I remember correctly, he was right around 10 seconds on the caster clock, and that's 2 seconds faster than the actual clock, so it was about 8 seconds to cap. And under those conditions, it can be really hard to get a cap in that quickly.
Definitely a lot of stress on the line, too. A lot riding on it. Very chaotic situation. A lot of people going down very quickly. The kill count, I imagine, was probably a little bit off as well, but he knew he had to go for it. He knew he had to try, and he did try his darnest, so good job from him trying to make that one work. Probably a collective sigh of relief as well from Velocity, as it definitely could have gone the other way.
Yep, and now Velocity on attack for potential map point. And this one, if you can just get a couple of picks on this, I think it favors the offense. We will see.
Yeah, just with that one pickup in John CZ last round, you could see how much harder the defense had to play. How many more angles they had to watch. Just again from losing that one player.
Yep. That's all it takes.
We'll have to see how this round 6 plays out. Denny, Little Sayonara, and Lego pushing very aggressively into the market here. Maybe we'll be able to get a pick. Lego immediately making it into the kiosk building here, getting into position to watch down, make sure nobody gets a flank on. But as I say that, Ree getting very, very aggressive, pushing into the building here. We're gonna have to see how he what comes out for him here. Immediately comes up, trades or gets Denny. Or trades with Denny, I should say, and now Lego and Sayonara clearing the building here, just trying to figure out what had just happened. Shots ring out from Sean CZ, just kind of firing down the line, maybe trying to get a good pick here. Gladiator, though, just staying tight on his angle here, waiting for Sean CZ to get closer.
No one crossed yet, I think. They just smoked out the fake.
Brywin, though, on an accurate call out there. Smoke was deployed on the near the tank area, but didn't see any cross from the defenders there. So that subterfuge will be lost, and Rome will have to just continue defending. Tight on the objective. Hope they can pick up those kills on the Velocity before they can get in tight on the objective. Sayonara continuing to push forward. Waiting for his team, though, as he just looks for those picks, checks anybody looking through those windows. But again, just like last round, we're seeing a lot of tight defenders holding their angles and not letting anybody get killed for free through those needless peaks, especially in an objective like this.
Well, when you're playing for map point as defense, it's a war of attrition. You don't want to give them anything for free. They have already lost their flanker in Ree, so I don't think we'll be seeing anybody else doing anything too spicy because the risk is just too high now.
It gets really tough to defend the objective the less players you have. But that said, Gladiator, again, really pushed far out, but on a excellent area, that northeast courtyard area. Very good for a defender to bounce around in, able to get those picks and defend just from across the lane as long as he's able to rotate in when the going gets tough. Meanwhile, Gladiator and Sayonara trading fire. John CZ gets in on the action here. Gladiator pulling into the building, but he knows his position is now compromised. Looks like we're going to see some utility from him. Throwing C4 coming out, hoping to catch any of those aggressive attackers coming in, gets those callouts out. Meanwhile, the rest of the attackers and Lego and Little Sayonara getting really, really pushy here, looking for any of those attackers as they know that Gladiator could come around and attack from another angle, or maybe T could push out and give support there. Ooh. T pushing out there, trying to get Sayonara on a double peak. Sayonara able to come out on top there. Now the objective is a little bit more open. Ramen having to rotate in and just narrowly not getting taken out by Sayonara as he continues to watch this angle. Lego now coming in very aggressively. Grenade through the door. Gladiator goes down to John CZ, and now Sayonara, though, continuing to apply pressure to Ramen, and he's now going to have to wait, peeking out and trying to get that pick. Lego picks up William. Very, very aggressive defending defensive peaks. Now Ramen all alone, being totally surrounded, and gets taken out by Throwin. Velocity will pick up this map.
Oh, very well executed attack by Velocity. They took their time, took out the flanker initially, and then just took apart the defense, one defender at a time.
Yeah, what I really liked about that Velocity attack is that they kind of poked the bear, as it were, and made Rome peak and let them get those kills. They didn't even have to really push into the objective too much there. Only when they had total dominance in a 4v1 did they really risk coming onto objective. They just let Rome get the peaks, trying to get those cheeky kills from behind or on the side there, and they were ready for it.
Yep. Ooh. And we get an excellent second map.
This time going to be from the likes of Velocity, choosing a map that's a little bit up their play style. Not that they did bad at all in Bazaar. They did very, very well. But we're going to have to see if Rome can check this aggression from Velocity and a map of Velocity's choosing. That will be the good old Subway.
So if we get a night map on the third one, this might end up being the darkest cast we've ever done. But they can have that title, the darkest cast in Onward VRML history.
The most tactical. Oh yeah.
Everyone's bringing quad nods. I feel like I need to be wearing quad nods in real life just to see some of these spots on the caster interface.
You're not?
You're right. I'm not being very professional right now. Let me go get my quad nods.
Yeah, please do. Gosh.
At least on this objective, the mid-platform, there's plenty of light, so we don't have to worry about it once people start playing around the objective. That will change once we have maybe the Chinatown objective or the South Stairs objective.
I just want to predict that we're going to see a outrageous flank from John CZ at some point in this this map.
Well, I would bet against you, but I think you're right. I think we'll see something wild coming out, and I would even wager we might see, let's see, who's been doing a lot of the flanking for Rome lately? Ree? Yeah, he's the one that's doing most of the flanking for them, so maybe a spicy counterflank from Ree as well?
Could be. I've seen a little bit from Gladiator on those kind of far-flung positions, but not really going so much for the flank. We'll just have to wait and see what these players bring for us. It's definitely been an exciting series so far. Good round-for-round wins from Velocity and Rome, both just trading back and forth. Velocity getting the upper hand there at the end, able to squeak it forward and bring this to a 1-0 currently, but with still 2 maps left on the series here, it could go either team's way.
Indeed. It looks like we have a drop from Velocity, too. You know, if we're waiting for them, I will check my messages to see if there's anything. Nothing so far. But I imagine if we don't see them back in the lobby shortly, we will likely go into an intermission.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Oh, and the sub comes in. It is Turtle coming in for Velocity.
Always good to have those players that are more custom or better suited for different maps. That's one of the benefits of having a larger roster and 8 people, even though you can only play 5, is that you can have players that are a little bit more specialized. Maybe they just like a map different more. They have different strategies that they employ against different teams or what have you. So having that flexibility can really work in your favor.
Actually, just kidding. Denny comes back into the game for Velocity, and now Rome has somebody swapping out. Let's see. So Ramen is getting swapped out.
Are we playing musical chairs here, Theta? Is that what's going on?
Yes, so. I can only imagine the tent for Rome after Ramen got those 2 team kills. Maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure. And I also know, in all fairness, sometimes players just feel like they're not feeling it, and they sub themselves out, and they say, look, bring somebody in that's maybe not on the same wavelength as me, that's not tilted or what have you, and you guys have a better chance of success. Because ultimately, as a teammate, your goal should be to be on a winning team, and not focus on yourself so much. But again, if we don't get somebody joining, then it might be appropriate for an intermission in a moment. Oh, we have
just
2
wanna
drops
point
on
out-
Rome now.
Yeah, I just want to point out that sometimes when you play in a scenario you're not used to, it can be really hard to not team kill everybody. I imagine that playing those night maps can throw a wrench into like your threat recognition. Things go wrong, everything's dark, and you're next to objective. It's really easy to make those kills, to be fair. I know whenever I'm playing on Suburbia, for example, I team kill everyone. You just get kind of hyper defensive and you don't know what's happening. But yep, we're gonna jump into a quick intermission here. We are seeing some players shuffle in, but when they're all ready to go, we will be back. See you guys shortly. Welcome back, everybody. We're just jumping into round 1 for map 2. We're gonna see how these teams fare in the good old subway. Starting with the center platform objective, I think this one's kind of a spicy one. Plays a lot differently, especially from all the kind of new objective up top that kind of brings a lot more topside than what we're used to. Players are shuffling forward though, and it looks like we're going to get a pretty typical defense here. A lot of players just kind of close to the objective or looking across towards objective, letting Marsog get onto the center platform. and then choosing to fight them once they get to the train tracks.
And we're seeing a recurring pattern with Velocity and being very careful, clearing angles, not exposing themselves. And little Sayonara here on the south stairs, checking to see if there's any kind of flanker who runs up.
He is definitely ready for anybody coming around, though. He's prone there. He's looking down, able to catch them before they should be able to see him. But I don't think he will be catching any today, as Rome is playing a very tight defense instead.
Rome was being a bit flankier before, but now that they've lost the first map, they are likely tightening the hatches, so to speak, so they don't
Definitely
risk
could
losing the
be.
match.
I have seen Rome be fairly flexible in their defensive strategies, you know, either going for a flanker defense or switching to a conservative one. It has definitely worked out for them in the past. William, though, just sitting here watching this what, I don't even know what these stairs. He's watching the stairs here. C4 a little bit visible, but should be able to catch anybody that just breaches the second level, considering that it is hanging down a little bit under the line there versus the normal placement of just being straight against the wall and being hidden from view. Looks like we might get a push onto said stairs soon enough. Lego reaching forward, putting a little bit of shots forward, trying to get their attention, try to get them to blow any kind of C4. Being able to pick up Sayonara in the center stairs. We're going to see if there's any more combat. Though, able to pick up Threadwin. John CZ, though, pulling just a bit back there, letting maybe expose himself, and as he continues pushing down the opposite line, getting very aggressive. And here we go, is coming around the backside, might be able to pick up John CZ, but John CZ in an excellent turnaround, able to pick up and stop this trade.
Meanwhile, near the objective, we have now Lego and Denny rushing in. William and Varix waiting for the breach. William rushes in and gets Denny, goes in for the second and gets Lego right on those stairs. And in the blink of an eye, John CZ is the last offensive player left.
Wow. Everybody's dead.
It's never a good feeling when you hear lots of gunshots and you look down and your tablet's empty. Oh, and Gladiator with the C4 from underneath the horseshoe.
Let's see if I caught that one in time. There we go. You can see he's just right below him. He was that player there silhouetted. And he just let that C4 get the kill there. He's just using his ears to hear that movement from John CZ right above him. A lot of onion-like defenses from Rome on that one.
And William, I think, was practicing some pretty good technical aggression there, because Lego and Denny were coming up, and he used the timing to rush down the stairs to get both of them. And truth be told, if that defense had failed, if William and Varix had gone down on objective, Cap was wide open. So getting those two kills right there was clutch for William. And then up in the horseshoe just cleaning up as well. That attack just had nowhere to go. They were choking them pretty quickly.
I have to agree with you there. We had two very spicy pushes almost simultaneously, just one after another. Velocity definitely trying to accomplish a timing attack between all their members at the same time, but Rome just doing so well on that defense, knowing exactly the right times to push, what times to hold back. And I'd argue that on a map like Subway, that those kind of aggressive defensive pushes where you kind of jab into the attackers, put them off balance, can work really well. Is there's a lot of these kind of one-way alley style areas where you don't really have to worry about flankers or anybody shooting you in the side or the back. It really brings us more of a 1v1 kind of situation between these two teams as they kind of pair off.
I'll go around the right side.
If I die, they're flanking. Okay.
Yeah.
Last minute communication coming out from Rome here. Everybody's spirits high. They're ready to win this. We're going to see if they can keep up the momentum, doing so well in round one, and see what comes out of it. Meanwhile, T and William all pushing south or through the basement very aggressively here. Guns up, ready for anybody. Thrywan putting some shots down, expecting some movement, but is a little early on those shots as the players wouldn't be able to get to that point just yet. Maybe he's just trying to keep them wary though, and then push up, make them go slow. John ZZ though, already getting a kill. I'll admit I was not ready for that one, but excellent work from him getting that quick pick, and he's actually downstairs as well and in a good position to continue creating problems for this attack.
He and William are in this little hide and seek dance in the basement. They know where each other are, and it's just a matter of who turns the corner better, who gets the first shots off. And William decides he doesn't want to make that a priority for the moment and rotates back into the boiler room. And as I say that, he goes right back to the same angle.
I think he's just checking all these angles, keeping him guessing. William coming around the corner though. John ZZ though, nice shot from him, does win that trade. He's being a terror downstairs, that's for sure. He is holding back, hoping that he might be able to get a free kill on John ZZ if he continues this push. This is definitely a team where you could see that kind of aggressive rotation after a few kills. But John ZZ, I think, doing the smart thing here, kind of holding back, just defending the basement here and letting them come to him.
The tough situation to be in as attackers. There's only 3 of you left. No information on any trades or anything like that. Just hear gunshots and see 2 dots disappear off of your tablet. It's a little disconcerting. And right now, all 3 attackers are isolated. So no chance for refrags or coordination beyond just hoping for good timing and using the radio.
Definitely a tough one for all of them. Gladiator has a tough line to make here. Crossing from the north stairs out onto the center platform is always a dangerous proposition. There's a lot of spots that he could be picked from as he makes this rotation. Quick peek from Lego, Thrywan, player popping up from the center stairs, just sitting in the tracks themselves. They're all possibilities. There's so many more spots than I even listed. So, ooh. Thrywan C4'd himself or grenaded himself? Let's see.
Ooh,
Be able to get that pickup. Probably be pretty confused, but he'll take it. Danny, though, sitting prone and pretty right under that ramp. Will he be able to get that pickup? And he does, just barely before T can pull back. Meanwhile, Lego able to pick up Gladiators. He pushes across the center platform. And just like that, we are down to the 1 attacker in Varix with only 2 minutes 32 seconds left on the clock. 4 members of Velocity to deal with. In a tough spot. He has made it onto the center platform. That is in his favor, but now he's going to have to deal with so many defenders, so many sneaky spots they could be in. A lot of ground to cover. And actually running the sniper rifle. Interesting.
His footsteps will for sure give him away at this point. Right next to Denny. There's no doubt he didn't hear that. That he did hear that,
gives you away? One gunshot.
Yeah.
I think he's just asserting his dominance. He's like, come at me, bro. I'm ready.
Got my sniper rifle. I'm equipped for this.
Bark should be aware of his position from that gunshot. Although that said, he has a lot of angles to watch. Any kind of aggression from him could definitely end in his death. John CZ and Denny have excellent crossing lines on one another. Lego's not far away, far gone from being able to help out either, and Sayonara is just up and around the bend.
Varix going for a prone up that ramp. Wow, and a trade.
Velocity pick a point, and that brings it to a 1v1 or a one-on-one, 1 versus 1, 1-1.
Just 1-1. The
It
points
was a
aren't
1v,
facing.
it was
each other.
basically a 1v1 right there at the end. Just saying.
Nice attempt at a save, but 1-1. I think the critical moment in that round was when John CZ got those 2 kills in the basement. And at that point, there's really a loss of momentum when you know one of your units is gone and you didn't get anything out of it. Or at least you don't think you got anything out of it. So
Definitely be a shock to try and come back from that, have to deal with any potential flankers. You know, having an inaccurate kill count. These are all tough situations and realities that these players have to make. They have a lot more of a fog of war style view on the game. They don't know when people trade necessarily. They don't know where the enemy team is. We can see all these kind of silhouettes and extra information here in the caster interface, but these players are just in the game, working with what little information they got. They have to use their radio to communicate with one another, and you see that in these top VRML games is information is everything. Teamwork is everything. So these players are doing very well to try and keep each other informed as much as possible. But when those situations happen, and they happen all the time, it gets murky, and it gets murky fast.
yes, it does.
Got a little bit of a false start coming on, but it looks like it's about to get going, and we'll have to see what happens here. I'm excited. This is the best objective. This is a objective that can work very well for an aggressive attack force. Smart defense can also put a good number on the attackers as they approach here and punish those aggressive strategies. So it's kind of this game of cat and mouse sometimes, as well as we already see some flashes coming out here. They're just trying to counter one another, and we'll have to see how it plays out here. One flash, or one frag going way over the wall here. Velocity choosing to play a bit more of a very conservative attack. 2 players just sitting right next to each other, waiting for anybody to come forward. I've seen this actually quite a bit from Velocity, this shooting over the shoulder style that we see here between John CZ and Thrywin. William pushing his luck, knowing that there is space for him to continue forward, and we're going to have to see if he overextends on his defensive push here. John CZ and Thrywin are hoping for that to happen from the likes of Rome. I think, like you said in a previous round, Velocity is trying to bait out Rome, try to get them to get those peaks in order to get those free pickups.
Lego, I think, extremely wary of the horseshoe, and for good reason. Ree has been inhabiting that on both of these defensive rounds and causing all kinds of havoc for them. But so far, has mostly just been playing reserve. He's up in that position, but he's not really doing much. And now he's just waiting behind the cucumber juice machine, hoping that somebody comes into the horseshoe. But Lego, so far, just kind of bouncing around.
I bet he's hoping that they have some change so he can get his own cucumber juice.
Aren't we all?
This is an interesting kind of town forum we got going on from Velocity. Everybody just sitting in the Chinatown here, looking for what restaurant they want to go to. William able to get a pickup on Denny Thrywin, and a nice rotation around, able to get that pickup, breaches the corner, takes control. They now have control. T is going to have to rotate and defend this. Flash coming out, but nobody is quite pushed up enough yet. Fire continues to come from Thrywin, keeping control of that. Ree, though, trying to come around for a nice flank, but Lego able to stop that in his tracks. C4 is neutralized, and just like that, this defense is looking a little precarious as T is the last member very, very close. Gladiator's also nearby, but in a tough position, a tough angle to try and support this defense. Frag comes out from the likes of John ZZ, trying to catch again any C4 that we might see from the defenders here, or maybe a defender at the far end, but not going to quite be able to reach. He's just barely able to pick up T. What a surprising jumping into the gameplay here. But Gladiator here, now the last defender on objective, trying to defend it. The last man up in Varix that's not on objective is going to have to push back as Gladiator desperately tries to hold this attacking team back as the entire push comes from the north stairs. And the push is starting to happen. We have a very, very strong hold from Velocity on this angle. We're going to have to just see how this plays out as Gladiator continues to peek around the corner to stop them from capping, as he knows that they can cap around the corner at any time. But he's doing his best. He's doing his best, but at some point he's going to get taken out, and Varx will have to take his place just like that. Gladiator goes down. Varx, last man up for the defenders here, getting a little bit aggressive, able to get a quick pick there as Sayonara, Thrywin, and John CZ continue their push, doing his best, but gets taken out there. A good attempt at trying to keep that one alive, but Velocity will take that point.
Wow, there were so many lasers on every defender that tried to show up on those north stairs. And Velocity, an interesting tactic I've never seen. They had 2 LMG gunners, both proning on either side of the stairs. So the moment somebody peeked out, there was LMG fire coming down onto the defenders, and then they were just suppressing the whole time they were going down. That is fascinating.
Definitely.
Oh, I just noticed both teams had a drop just now. So maybe a substitution coming out? I'm not sure.
Definitely could be. We've seen some intermittent internet issues from both of these teams here, getting a few drops here and there. Not too bad, though. I'm sure they'll be back soon, and we'll continue this spicy north objective action. Well played from both teams, trying their best. I think that rotation from Ree could have definitely really worked out in their favor, as 5 were going down that north alley in the end. But Lego, MVP in my mind, as he made sure that that flank did not happen, did not join the fun in the north alley. He just made sure his team could do the work they needed to win the round, and like that, they were able to get that win.
And I just received a message that Rome is taking their 15-minute timeout, so we should probably dip into an intermission.
All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in there. Sorry for the overlay. I did catch it before the action happened. Don't be mean to me. Oh, we'll be back soon, guys, though, for the action. Stay tuned.
VRware. Our passion is for the future.
All right, guys, we're back. We're going to jump right into the action here, as these teams are ready to go. Already moving out. Got 2 players coming up, going towards North Stairs here. Going for a bit of a slower push here. William doing the honors, coming forward. He has some utility in hand. Ramen watching for any kind of flank coming from the backside. Frag comes over the back, not quite gonna reach anybody, as it does go over the back wall there. Definitely a hard throw, as you have to get in a very narrow kind of angle with any utility thrown over the wall, but can be very powerful. William opting to hold fast, wait for any of those attackers to come by. Very reminiscent of the velocity defense here. We'll just have to see how Lego and Denny choose to handle this, as nothing is currently happening here, but could happen at any point. And William and Ramen very close by, ready for that push in when the time is right with the rest of their team. Meanwhile, Gladiator has already breached the center platform, able to take a position at South Stairs, looking across, trying to get any of those picks on those defenders that will be inevitably in the center angle here. Shots ringing out, getting their attention, having them look over as he takes position in cover. Again, just looking for those flanks, waiting for any movement from Velocity, and maybe getting them confused and looking the wrong angle for the rest of the attack.
Yeah, it seems like both of these teams taking very similar tactics, just waiting for the other side to do something for the first, I don't know, couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes. And so far, neither side has really complied with that on defense. They aren't sending anybody out too aggressively. They're just sitting tight, waiting for the offense to wear themselves out with their angle clearing and then come in for an attack.
Definitely holding their defense close to the chest, hoping that they will be able to come out on top once the action happens. Frag comes over the wall, this time on target. Able to, ooh, Lego though, getting that pickup onto William. The grenade was just a little too far. Trying to come for that repick here. Shots ring out. He is now pushing aggressively onto Lego, not giving him any chance to use any kind of utility. Pulling back, trying to get away from the grenade, but he gets downed and then killed by the C4 in an explosive finish for Ree. Flash coming out, Ramen pulling back.
It was a crazy coincidence that the frag goes off and ignites the C4 and finishes the down. I don't think I've ever seen that happen on the North Stairs.
I don't think so either.
He's on the scaffolding. He's here with me.
He's on the scaffolding? I think their call out for the horseshoe is...
He's at the exit of the overpass. He's at the exit of the overpass.
I've heard catwalk before, but I don't think I've ever heard scaffolding. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's somebody down there though. He's opting to rotate again, going for more of a north push, considering the north push failed. Trying to double up on this attack, not push the south too heavily. As that said, one player is going for the flank in Ramen, maybe able to get those quick pickups once the kills start being taken out at the north, or the defenders rather being taken out. Varks and Gladiator doing a little bit of last minute deliberation. Plans always do have to change in a game of Onward. You never know what's going to go well and what's going to go against you on your team, and you're always going to have to make adjustments mid-round. So good job on Rome to continue this dialogue, not force any attacks that aren't working, instead go for something different. And looks like they're going to be pushing the horseshoe. We're just going to have to see how that one plays out.
Interesting. So Gladiator called out John CZ and rotated, then he grabbed Varix and came back.
John CZ coming out ahead here. Bar's trying to go for that refrag, does get the refrag, but only a down. And now John CZ will be able to get a pickup if they so desire to do that rotation. And at the very least, they will know exactly that 2 players did go down. They should have a pretty accurate call. The last member up for Rome is going to have to do this all by himself in a 1v3.
That's pretty tough. I don't know. I guess if he gets through the south, he can maybe take out Thrywin and hope for a cap around the corner on Little Sayonara and hope that Denny doesn't make a rotation either. But odds are not in Ramen's favor at the moment. This is not a good or easy position to be in.
Right, and he's got a lot of ground to cover. Oh, Thrywin with an excellent shot, long range, able to pick up Ramen, giving Velocity another point. Velocity definitely doing very well for themselves on this map, but we can see why they chose it. Having those tight defenses, able to cover the angles they need to, and aggressively pushing forward when they need to. John ZZ in the horseshoe, able to pick up those two. The defense in the north ultimately working in their favor. Lego's grenade. Very fortunate to get that pick onto Ree as he tried to push back and away from it, and that spicy C4 to get that finishing kill for them in the north. Really tied it up for them. I think we're doing the basement objective now. Yep.
That appears to be the case.
So this one's a very interesting objective. I would argue a little bit Volk favored. You can play a very nice defensive line. Everybody can stay below. You can get aggressive, go down the tunnels on the far side, or you could push up and try and ambush from up top on the center platform. So a lot of good strategies that we see teams employ. And you always have to keep the Marsoc always has to keep guessing at what's going to be coming out from the defenders. Let's get ready to jump in. Not quite yet. Again, a little bit more planning needed for these teams. It's possible match point for Velocity, and if they do take this one, they did win map 1 on Bazaar, and they would take the series here. So a lot on the line for both of these teams to try and play to their best ability and come out ahead here. Rome's got a lot of game to win here. They got to win at least 3 more points in order to take this, but it's definitely possible.
Now that we are down to match... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
William and Gladiator pushing forward, getting quite aggressive on their defense here, trying to catch Velocity unaware of their positions, trying to go for the more ambush strategy, but it's not going to really work out here as Velocity going for a very, very aggressive basement push, very heavy, with all players in the basement here, trying to overwhelm them and create an opening down below.
I was thinking, now that it's match point, especially for Velocity, since they can afford to lose a round, are we going to see something a little spicier? Are we going to see less of this hold back and wait kind of strategy? But I don't think so. I think Velocity is going to stay focused here and just try to take this as carefully and tactically as they possibly can.
Definitely so. There's a lot on the line here, and even if they do pick up that map win, I should say, a lot of MMR gain or loss or minimize for Rome. So when you win, you are gonna gain MMR, but the amount that you win will affect just how much MMR you gain as the winning team or how much you lose as the defending team. So even if a team loses, they still have a lot on the line. Ramen here doing a little bit of cat and mouse peeking. Sayonara as well. Sayonara has a lot of rounds in that looks like a saw. Yeah, he's got a saw. Ramen though just trying to hold him back here, getting a little bit peeky, but he might be able to get a pickup on this next peek from Sayonara if he continues to peek this angle here. He's got a lot to deal with though, and basically the entire Marsoc team just barely missing that shot from Thrywin as Thrywin pushes out, gets that pick onto Ramen, and just like that, the tunnels are open for the attacking team here, and Gladiator and William will need to rotate back soon if they're going to be relevant to this defense.
And those tunnels are such a critical control point on this map, and this, I should say, this objective specifically, because once they get on the tracks, they can just start overwhelming the defense that's on the platform, especially in the situation where you have two defenders who are not on the platform and will have to rotate out in the open.
A lot of utility being used from Velocity, making sure that any kind of C4 at the end of the tunnel won't totally kill their entire attacking team here. Bark, so on this Fizzy Coke machine, in a good position to try and blunt this attack, but against the likes of a full push, it'll be tough. Denny and Lego still holding back, looking for those flankers, and letting Thrywan, Sayonara, and John CZ, the kind of assault team, if you will, just continue to this push forward and work together. Barks picking up Sayonara as he peeks around the corner there. They're definitely going to be aware of his position. They now have an LMG on the line ready to just hold him in place, letting John CZ push forward for the kill. But that said, Thrywan will get it himself, able to get him when he continues aggressively peek. William and Gladiator coming back to try and support this defense. William picking up Thrywan, Gladiator peeking around the corner. But William will continue to just dominate here, picking up John CZ. And now it's just up to Lego and Denny to kind of deal with this defense. This aptly timed rotation from the likes of Gladiator and William is going to play dividends, and looks like they're going to be doing well for themselves. And Denny and Lego has a lot to deal with, considering they now have to re-breach the corner here and then deal with this strong defense that is now ready for this push. It looks like they're kind of aware of the attack plan that Velocity is taking at this point. What a tricky grenade throw right there. I don't know if you saw that, but wow.
I did. I couldn't tell if that was accidental or not. Like,
that was skill, pure skill. We're going with skill. Denny getting a pickup on William, ending his reign of terror, using the smoke to kind of cut the battlefield in two, let them deal with the player that's close, and then push forward once they've dealt with that, and it's working really well. We got some counter grenades coming up from the likes of Gladiator, trying to stop any aggressive defense in its place. But now this is looking real tense as Lego continues to push up. Denny picking up Gladiator. Lego getting very, very close for objective, going for any kind of utility. And now he's going to pop around the corner. Grenade on the objective. Just all the way at the end there, having to deal with a lot. Lego getting the pickup, and Velocity will take the round and thus win the series.
Well, there you have it. Velocity has won the match in decisive fashion on that last objective.
That said, I just want to say that it was almost the other way. It was kind of a roller coaster this whole round. Velocity's attack was very, very much stopped by the likes of William, doing a great job to stop that early aggression and give his team time to collect themselves and orient towards the threat. But some excellent teamwork from the likes of Lego and Denny. Yeah, Denny doing an excellent job cutting the battlefield in half, pushing forward, one covering the other as they push forward aggressively, and kept having to look both ways, both angles there, and giving Lego that edge he needed to come around and get that kill, securing the win on this objective, and just worked out really well for him.
Indeed. Yeah, good job taking those tracks, using the smokes, and coordinating to get those last two defenders, because could have gone the other way for sure.
Absolutely. They knew when to keep pushing. They definitely had the opportunity to rotate around, go for more of a platform-esque attack going down the stairs, which I think would have been very valid, but they knew that they had a good chokehold, I think, on the south, and knew that it was very weak from the kills that they had and probably called out. So all in all, good battlefield decisions made from Velocity in that fog of war.
I think we're getting a rehost.
Let's jump into intermission real quick, and we'll be back shortly.
VRware. Our passion is for the future.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to see how this game plays out. Our last one will be on stand. Rome versus Velocity. Velocity have won the series so far, but Rome still has MMR to fight for. We're going to have to see what they can do. Currently playing 4v5. We'll have to see how that one shakes out. Definitely a good team, and we'll be able to make some strides. Ooh, Gladiator with grenade launcher immediately right off the start. John CZ, though, nearby and ready to get any kind of refrag opportunity if they're able to pick up Sayonara. William, though, going to completely run right past him, go around the south side here and get in position. Currently, no defenders really in place except for Sayonara. Actually in a great position to stop him, my bad. William nearly getting taken out, having to heal, immediately coming around the side for rotation, able to pick up Sayonara and a 180-degree attack from T and William. And now the objective is a little bit open. Lego is going to have to rotate to defend this. Thrywin looks like he might be going for a thrown C4 over the wall, able to pick up T Party and William. Immediate kill on William, and he should be able to get this confirmed without a hitch.
And,
John CZ picks up Glad.
I don't know if the smokes for the M203, someone can probably chime in and tell me. I'm genuinely uneducated about this, but smokes on M203 might have the same proximity, but if not, that was an M203 HE round, if I'm not mistaken, which would mean a forfeit of the round.
I'm not quite sure. We'll leave that to others. But good round all in all for these teams. I think Velocity's defense doing very well to cover all those angles, and definitely an excellent rotation from Thrywin with the C4 over the wall, able to stop that main attack in its tracks. If they were not able to do that, it would have been very tough for them to deal with, as they would have had to make some heavy rotations, leave a lot of those openings. A lot of those paths open for the offense. Let's throw sand on here. There we go. And a point for Velocity. It looks like they're going to continue playing this 4v5. We'll have to see what they're able to do. Immediate smoke. Interesting smoke. Looks like they might go for a bit of an aggressive play against Velocity, or maybe trying to force them to run through the smoke and thus be blinded. A strategy we have seen fairly often. We're in a nice ambush spot, trying to catch the likes of Turtle and John CZ, keeping low, knowing that the enemy players are going to be watching. William taking out a spot, looking across from the smoke. Maybe he was just trying to get in a position without being able to be shot from the like of Throwin and Sayonara. But Sayonara will be able to continue his push here. And this defense will have to be wary. Meanwhile, putting a little bit of shots on, letting him know that he's there, and now crouching and getting around the corner. A little bit of a quick movement from him getting through the doorway, and John ZZ will not be able to pick him up there. Now in a secondary defensive position, a place that we have seen before in the past. You definitely have to worry about grenades, but will be able to stay alive there. Meanwhile, William continuing to just hold steady, wait for any kind of rotation as Thrywin tries to get that angle on him. And now William in a peak, not quite able to get Thrywin, but definitely in a worrisome state as Thrywin able to get that pickup. Ooh, C4 going off. Not getting anybody. Definitely concerned about this kind of gap in their defense. It's basically up to Gladiator to watch two angles. Ooh, grenade coming over towards the objective, just narrowly missing T. He was now kind of stuck in this corner. He doesn't really know it, but these attackers above could be a threat to him. Maybe not. Well, actually, kind of looks like it's blocking it. Yeah, never mind. I think it's good. Flash coming out from the lights of Sean CZ as he continues this push forward. Utility being used. Smokes being deployed. The attack is on. We're going to have to see how this one shakes out. Smoke coming from Sean CZ. Ree, though, getting aggressive, coming around the corner here. Will he be able to get Sean CZ as he comes around into the doorway? Sean CZ, though, here's his movement. Able to pick up Ree, and an excellent pickup. Rome down to 2. Turtle picking up Gladiator. Now it's just up to T. A familiar situation we've seen in the past. We'll have to see what he can do against a 5-man Velocity team as he desperately tries to defend this objective against overwhelming odds. Sayonara will get that pickup, though, and Velocity will put another point on the board.
Wow, Velocity just swept over them like a tidal wave. That was, I think, just an illustration of how hard it can be to defend on this map. There's just so many angles to watch all the time. So I have some sympathy there, especially with only 4 on your team on defense.
Right, they're just having to pull double duty. This is definitely one of the more wide open objectives on this map as far as defending goes. You have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of very key rotations or crosses that you're going to have to cover as well from the defenders. And you saw Rome trying to do this, basically watching 2 angles per player, and a lot of these angles, you know, when they come around it, they're basically right on top of you, and there's not much you can do about it. And it can really make a defense hard, especially again playing 4v5, like you said.
Of all the maps you could play 4v5, this might be one of the most unforgiving. So kudos to Rome for pushing ahead regardless and trying to put up as good a fight as they can with that numerical disadvantage.
Yeah, and it's more than a 4v5. It's when you start to lose those players, that's one less angle that you can be watching keenly. And then if you lose another because of that exact problem, you'll just continue to hemorrhage players as they continue to having to watch 2 or 3 or 4 angles depending on the objective and circumstance. So definitely a tough spot to fight from. Let's jump into round 3 here as we continue to brisk along. See what these attackers do. I think this is one of the more spicy objectives. You can see a lot of quick fights right off the start. You can see John CZ here trying to get a shot on the Ree. Does get it. Able to pick up Ree as he comes around the corner. T not really in a place to really even support or get a refrag as he is all the way over and across a wall there. T picking up William, and an unfortunate team kill there. Tight angle sometimes ends in those very aggressive picks. That said, Gladiator almost in a really excellent spot. If he can take out Sean CZ, he will be able to get back and towards objective and maybe rotate around and then take out Lego. There's plenty of options for him to do that, but he's gonna have to watch his back. You can already see that here, kind of walking backwards while checking his rear, expecting some sort of flank from the likes of Velocity. Ooh, Gladiator getting picked by John CZ there. Just a little slow on the draw, and John doing a very good job of defending. Running low on ammo, though, you can see he was already picking up one of his spent magazines. Making sure his team watches the objective so they don't get a sneaky cap from behind. Something that we have seen Rome do in the past. Now T continuing his push forward there. Very much committed here. He has the time to try and just run around and get these picks. If he moves around too quickly, though, John CZ will hear him. The shots ring out. T's position will be known now, and you can see John picking up this nice tight angle while T tries to go for kind of defensive strategy. Smoke comes out. He shoots his gun, but not able to shoot enough, and Velocity will take that round.
T with a team kill on that round. Man, when you're down a person already, that is just devastating. Not only do you lose an extra person, but the morale starts to plummet in that sort of situation for both the TKer and the person who was team killed, I should say.
Your team kid.
Apparently, after 2+ hours of casting, my speech is Team Cade.
Don't worry, mine's like that from the start, so I don't have to worry about that problem. Still got some spicy rounds up ahead, though. We'll have to see how it goes, but Rome, playing from the defensive side, has a bit of an advantage here if they can make up for that 4v5 anyway. We'll just have to see what happens, and they have to be careful though. This objective is one of those ones where Cap could come in a blink of an eye. You think you have everything covered, one key player goes down, and the Cap is coming in hard and fast, so we'll have to see how Velocity chooses to attack this. They definitely haven't been really going for those caps all too often throughout this series, trying more to win on kills, and a kill win is all they need here in order to get their 4 points needed to win this series, or sorry, to win this map, as they've already won the series in map 1 and 2. But trying to just totally win or get all the wins you can, all the maps you can, definitely very powerful, and you don't want to scoff at that and lose a point just because you tried too hard for a cap.
Definitely. This one is pretty hard to defend too. I will say these cloth panels around the objective are penetrable. So unless you're hanging out around these rock wall things nearby, there's really nowhere to hide inside that. You just LMG it to death.
LMG, LMG, LMG. I think LMGs have kind of become... They were very, very popular back when Smoke and C4 was banned. And then once those came back, I think they kind of died off just a little bit for a lot of teams. Not all of them, but some teams. But they're starting to come back into vogue. I'm seeing a lot more teams not just embrace the M249 or whatever, but they're really pushing into that, using that suppressive fire to really allow them to make the plays that they want to. Not necessarily rely on smokes too much, or maybe in addition to smokes. Because honestly, smokes, they have this blinding effect for these players when they're running through the smoke, and it actually makes attacking through them very difficult. So by using that M249, again, very similar to the previous when you couldn't even use smokes, can be very powerful and allow you to make those plays that you want to make, move in the open like you want to do, make those crosses. So I really like seeing that. I think it's a lot of fun, and even just the audio cover they create is very powerful as well.
Indeed, and on defense, they're pretty valuable now that smokes are back in rotation, because you can shoot through the smokes, especially when people are dumping them on the objective itself, and that can save you a cap.
Absolutely can. Those smoke and cap style plays also making a big comeback. Really interesting to see how the meta develops. See how round 4 shakes out as we jump in here. Pretty close spawn. William and T looks like they're going to try and check this this rotation here. T going for more of the repair building. Throwing some C4 actually right on the wall, trying to catch a late rotation. William crossing over to the box as Thrywin in position to stop that rotation from William. This map is definitely about those technical angles where you can go at certain times in the round where they could spawn. Gladiator picking up Sayonara though on the backside here. Not quite confirmed, but in a good position to confirm that kill there. Airburst frag coming around, trying to get that confirmed. Just a little bit too much of a delay there. Smoke coming out, or a flash coming out from the likes of Tea Party as well. Sayonara definitely feeling the pain of utility deployed upon him. Lego's going for a smoke play, throwing it right into the corner of T. Excellent movement there. T very concerned about that. Blows to C4, now getting a little bit more aggressive, running up and repositioning on the rock wall. In a nice position from the center two-story building to try and support, but looks like he's going for more of a rotation there. Might run into the likes of John ZZ. The main push continuing to come though from the southeast as the res comes out. Turtle and Sayonara will be able to continue that push with the help of Thrywin. Lego getting an excellent grenade onto Gladiator. And now, again, very similar to before, it's just up to T and Ree, who's now rotated back to objective. T taken out by Lego. Ree definitely has his work cut out for him. Getting super, super aggressive. Trying to just win on pure aggression alone. Velocity able to check that, though. Taking the point win there. What a explosive set of maps that we had there, right, Theta?
Indeed. And that was, again, a valiant effort by Rome to try and deal with that 4v5, but again, just so hard to defend that with a single, or even play offense, even just really hard in general to play this map person down. So I commend them from giving it a shot, but that's a pretty significant disadvantage to play with on this map.
Yeah, this is not the map I would be wanting to want to play if I was down a player. But you know, sometimes that kind of situation happens. You got that unfortunate drop. You just got to play through it, and they did. So good job for them. Overall, great series. A lot of back-to-back bulk trays on Bazaar. Velocity again able to take the win on that. Very, very close cap though for Rome. Which would have turned it around for him on that first map. Subway, very interesting gameplay there. Velocity doing very well to stop the aggressive play from Rome. Kind of just really good technical pushes together all in all. And overall a great series. I'm glad we got to watch this one. Anyways, this has been Rome versus Velocity, brought to you by myself, Monorchid, and Theta. We'd like to thank the VR Master League for providing the formats, for the teams, our moderator team, the sponsors, and especially you guys. Thanks for coming along. Really like to see that you guys engage with us. And that whole pint system they're doing, also very fun as well. Get the little bit of betting in here. But anyways, do check out the casts that are going on. I think there's one happening right now from Trip, and there should be one later today as well. Anyways, have a good night, everyone.